Maybe you're driving home from work and traffic's a little heavy, so you decide to call your mom, or maybe you're watching SciShow while you're doing some calculus homework. And it seems like both tasks are going well enough, since you might consider yourself good at multitasking. Sound familiar? Sure, you might think you're doing well, but it turns out you are just not noticing your mistakes. According to lots of psychological studies from researchers ranging from the University of Michigan to Stanford, when you think you are multitasking, you aren't actually doing two tasks at the same time. Instead, you are switching between them quickly so that you don't even notice. And in the process of switching, you are taking longer and making more mistakes on both things than if you were doing one at a time. So why can't we multitask? Your brain just isn't designed to do two things at once, and that has to do with your brain's executive control processes. These processes take place with help from your prefrontal cortex, the brain region you are using to concentrate right now, and they're responsible for most of your control and decision-making. Now you might be thinking, Hank, how are you so sure I'm concentrating right now? It's because you're hearing what I'm saying, and if you're not, then you're not concentrating, and so I know. Psychologists think that executive control processes have two distinct phases: goal shifting and rule activation. In the goal shifting phase, your brain concentrates on doing task A instead of task B. And in the rule activation phase, your brain focuses on turning off the rules it needs for the first task and turning on the rules for the next one. So an example. One study asked participants to multitask by solving simple math problems while also classifying different shapes. So first, your brain might work on the math problems instead of sorting shapes. It would focus on the rules for how to do math, like order of operations or how to add numbers, instead of the rules of choosing circles or squares. And when you switch tasks, first your brain would have to shift goals from math to shapes, then it would have to recall the rules to classify shapes. Going through these stages helps your brain shift between tasks without you realizing it, but it also takes time, even if it's just a few tenths of a second. Now that doesn't seem like very long, but those delays will add up over time. The same study also showed that multitasking with more complicated or unfamiliar tasks caused the delays to get longer, with even more mistakes. Those short delays can have real-world implications, like a tenth of a second delay while switching between answering your phone and paying attention while driving is about all it takes to cause an accident. Besides making you less productive, there's a chance that multitasking might affect or be affected by the structure of your brain. One 2014 peer-reviewed study from the Public Library of Science looked at the relationship between how often people multitasked and their brain structure. The participants who multitasked the most had less gray matter, the brain tissue that's mostly neurons, in a region called the anterior cingulate cortex, which is located near the prefrontal cortex and is involved in decision-making and impulse control. But since it was a correlational study, the researchers were just observing people and weren't actually manipulating variables. In other words, they couldn't determine if more multitasking causes the tissue loss or if fewer neurons in that region just happen to be related to that behavior, so more research needs to be done before we can draw any conclusions. So research seems to suggest that we stop multitasking and focus on one thing at a time. But what if it isn't that easy? Whenever you complete a small task, like sending out a funny tweet while working on your big project, your brain releases the hormone dopamine, which makes you feel a small sense of reward and accomplishment. Since that's such a great feeling, it encourages you to keep multitasking. Even though you might be doing each small task inefficiently or with more errors, your brain keeps releasing dopamine, so the multitasking continues. It's kind of like a vicious cycle. On top of that, your prefrontal cortex is easily distracted and excited by new things like kittens and memes and the whole internet's worth of those things. So multitasking can be extremely tempting. But for the sake of your job or your GPA, maybe finish that project you are working on and then come catch up on SciShow. Thanks for watching this episode of SciShow Psych, and thanks especially to our patrons on Patreon for helping us get this new channel off the ground. If you'd like to help us make more episodes like this, you can go to patreon.com/SciShow, and if you want to be the first to see new episodes here, you can go to youtube.com/SciShowPsych and subscribe.